What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back on this Thursday, the 25th of January, and we have some news to talk about. We have the Pogba news. Pogba still believing that he can play a big part of whatever the future is at the club, which is kind of a big news story, especially how it has been reported by Tuttosport. Then we have a big, massive news story on KOOPMEINERS from Di Marzio. That's what we're going to talk about as well. We have Miretti news, we have RABIOT news, we have goalkeeper news, and we have KESSIE. Yeah, KESSIE. That's the news we have, but that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you haven't watched the first part of the podcast with Julian, that's out. The second part is going to drop on Friday, and that one is even better because that's more into detail. So stay tuned for that. As always, like the video. Let's set the goal for 80. So hit that like button now. Really appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. And let's jump straight into a pack one. We do start off with Pogba because I think 2 weeks ago, somebody asked in the comments why you're not speaking about Pogba and the news out there. The news out there was from no reporter. Like, there was no source to the news. So that's why I'm like, there's not even a crap source. Like, the person putting it out there is not a source. Like, he's a guy like you and me. And he's putting things out there. And he has put things out there in the past that have been shockingly bad, and in some aspects even very disrespectful. So that's why I didn't mention it. Now, this is from Tuttosport. It is a source. If you like it or not, it is a source. And they are saying that Paul sent a message to his teammate after we beat Lecce, congratulating them on the win, and also telling them that he cannot wait to come back and contribute. And the article goes on saying that he knows that he owns the club big time, and that he wants to contribute. I don't even know what that means at this moment in time, because the hearings and whatever, it's all being pushed back. Now the new date is set like mid-February apparently, and first it was 4 years, then 2 years, and now the news out there is he's very confident that it will be resolved and that he can be back next season. Like, it's so many ifs and buts. The fact is, like, he hasn't played football for a good 3 years basically. Like, the first season he joined, he didn't play. Like, he didn't play the first season he joined. This season he didn't play, and Manu, he was injured. So like 2.5 seasons he's not playing any football. Like, you also need to keep that in mind. Now, what I do find interesting is that the club never really, and I know why, because there's no sentence, like there's no, oh, you're suspended for 2 years or whatever, but there's no leaks from the club that, they're done with Pogba, and that, the plan is we're gonna terminate the contract, and this, like, there's no leaks, nothing. Actually, the only news out there is that they're very supportive of Pogba, whatever that actually means as well. But there's no news about the fact that the club is completely done with him and whatsoever. I think they're just waiting and seeing what could potentially happen. But if we are being honest, and I like his talent, it is what it is. It's undeniable. It's one of the best we've ever seen probably at the club. At his peak, it's unbelievable. But how can you forgive him? Like, how can you as a club look at Pogba and be like, yeah, like, join us. Like, we invested so much in you, and you gave us nothing back. Actually, you gave us things back in return we could have never imagined. like this. It's insane, The only thing that potentially can happen, I believe, that the club is like, what, we will keep you, is if he comes out and he says, let's say he gets suspended for 6 months, and he comes out and he tells the club, because he has 1 year plus one apparently, if he tells the club, I'm done, you pay me the minimum wage basically, and I will play for the next 2 years. If I'm injured, if I cannot be fit for so many games, I'm out of here. You can make that decision. That's on you. Only if something in that scenario happens, I think the club will be like, you know what, we can do that. Potentially, we can make that work. However, we're not paying him, I don't know, 9 million euros. Like, that's just not gonna happen. Like, everything needs to come from his hand, and that's if his suspension is not 2 years or something. Like, I'm talking about um, a universe where, I don't know, somehow he will only get suspended for 6 months, and he tells the club, I owe you so much, like, I'm just gonna play, and even if I'm not reaching certain things, you can release me. That's all on, that's all for you guys. That's the only thing I could potentially see, and even then I'm like, that's very far-fetched. The club will be like, yeah, we're gonna do that, because this is sad. Like, this is one of the like, probably the saddest story in our club's history, like, transfer related, because a lot of people absolutely love Pogba. Maybe still, from what he has done at the club, and so many people were hyped when he came back. Not all of them, but a lot of people were very hyped. And then this happens, and actually the last couple of months we've completely feel like we didn't talk about Pogba because we were winning, obviously. That goes in hand in hand, and some might say, we're winning, we're doing well, we shouldn't be bringing that drama back into the club. No matter what he can offer on the club, we're doing well without him, and we're just going to move on to new players, different players. And I think that's the direction we should be going in. We've seen very little snippets ever since he came back, but we know when he came back on that pitch, those few times you looked at it and you were like, wow, yeah, that's it, man. Like nobody in the club, like, talent wise, ability wise, comes even close. But that tells, he's obviously talented, but it also speaks volume of the quality in our actual in our squad, basically. But let's see. Apparently the hearing is mid-February, so we're gonna see if that's something positive for him or negative, or for us. It's just wait and see at this moment in time. But that's news story about Pogba. The other big news story is KOOPMEINERS from Atalanta, and Di Marzio dropped the bomb. Like, he dropped an absolute bomb. It's been a roller coaster when it comes to midfield ever since the transfer window shut down in the summer, and we build it up to this one. It was Turam, Turam, Turam. Then it was Surukov, Surukov, Surukov. Like, those were the big signings. Then it was Samardzic. And actually, at one point in January, we were made to believe we're actually pushing to sign Samardzic now from very good sources. Romeo Di Marzio. He's not joining Napoli because we kind of scooped him away. And now it's, boom, we're going to pay 40 million euros for KOOPMEINERS. So that's what we're trying to do. And that makes me think, okay, what's going to happen with Samardzic? Because I don't see us having 70 million euros to spend on midfielders. So the news is that, and it's big news, because Di Marzio is saying the moment the transfer window shuts, so February 3rd, starting from February 3rd, I think that's the Monday, I'm assuming, or something. No, that's a Friday, I think it is, because we play, no, it's a Saturday, because we play Inter the February 4th, I think, on a Sunday. But he said the moment the transfer window shuts down, Giuntoli will sit down with with Atalanta, and try to finalize a deal for KOOPMEINERS for the summer. An offer of 40 million euro plus bonuses is being prepared. KOOPMEINERS is Juve's top priority, and they won't rush towards other options. Like, when he dropped that, I was like, wow. Because if this is true, then the club is also telling the fans a little bit, this is the direction we're going. We're serious, and actually want to wrap some things up before the Euros. We want to wrap this one up. We know we have KOOPMEINERS, but so many questions will arise. Do I like KOOPMEINERS? Yes. Like, yes. And I think he will be fantastic under Allegri. I will. Do I have PTSD when it comes to Atalanta players? Yes. And the funny thing is, I have PTSD about Atalanta players that never played for us. Just Atalanta players leaving, it's like, the only thing that keeps me positive is I've seen him before he joined Atalanta, and he was still good. That's the only thing. He exploded at Atalanta. He's a very good player, and he will fit Allegri perfectly. But the questions are the money. I think that's a lot of money. Like Hanin on the channel, who's a member, says it's not going to be enough. It's going to be 50 million. I think that's crazy. Because I thought we reached a point where we were like, we're not going to pay those amount of money anymore. Like, we're just not going to do it. That's one. Two is, what about Samardzic? Because you told him to not join Napoli, and you said we're going to sign you in potentially in January, if not in the summer. You can say we're signing both, fine, but do you think we have 70 million euros? We're made to believe we don't have. And the third one is, what about Rabiot? What about Rabiot? Because if you sign Samardzic, if you let's assume you're gonna go for both, then where does that leave Rabiot? You know, and even if Rabiot stays, are you gonna sign Koopmeiners to play alongside Locatelli and um, Rabiot, and then Samac is completely done because you keep McKennie and maybe Fajoli comes back and you keep Miretti or like McKennie. Like there's so many question marks with like it's interesting and it's still very confusing. It's fresh, so we don't know what's gonna happen. But the Rabiot one, and I will talk about Rabiot next, is a big part of it as well. Like we're gonna need to wait and see, you know, what formation are we gonna play? Like that's hopefully been written in stone now between Giuntoli and Allegri. Even if the season is going on, this is what we're gonna do because Giuntoli cannot wait until the end of the season. Like winning the Scudetto or not, it doesn't change the fact that we're gonna get that Champions League money. You're getting back in Europe, and we need to improve the squad. It's not gonna change anything. You can ask Allegri mid-season, okay, look at the squad we have, look at the players we're trying to get. You know, with your agreement, which formation are we gonna play? We need to know it now. Like we need to know it now because we need to know these are the list of players we could potentially sell, and these are the players that we're bringing in regardless, or to replace the players we're selling. That's need to be done now. From now until May, that needs to be completely done. And then obviously things can change mid-season, you know, or mid-transfer window. You know, a big offer for your player, or a player receives an even bigger offer of another player. You know, a target, excuse me. That I understand, but for now, you need to make your mind up. And apparently, it's Koopmeiners. Koopmeiners is the big one, and like I said, Rabiot, it goes kind of hand in hand because Calcio Mercato is saying that a big offer is needed to keep Rabiot, basically the same from now, and a project equally convincing will be necessary for a player already labeled as a future captain. If we need to pay Rabiot 8 million euros again, no. People can say whatever they want about Rabiot, and I'm not going to go into debate. Do you like Rabiot or do you not like Rabiot? But if as a club you're putting out there you're not willing to pay big wages anymore, then a player like Rabiot should definitely not be on 8 million euros. 8 million euros should be like if the club set a new standard, 8 million euros should be you sign. And I know these players are on much higher wages, but just to give you an idea of the quality of player, you're signing 20 crores at 28, like Rabiot. 8 million euros, all the rest 3, 4. Like that's the quality of gap there should be if you're getting 8 million. Like that's what the club is putting out there. So you cannot tell Vlahovic you need to cut your wages. Chiesa, you're not gonna get 8 million, and forget about injuries and all those things. It's just pure quality. I don't know how you're gonna sell that to agents of other players you're trying to get. You know, because they know what money other players are on. They're not stupid. Like they're not idiots. So if Allegri says, I know he wants to keep Rabiot, but if we need to pay him 8 million euros for 3 years, because apparently this time it is a long-term deal, that's insane. That's insane. Like when I watch Rabiot, he's not worth 8 million euros. And fair or not fair, a striker will always command more money. That's just how it is now. Like you're just not going to get underneath that at this moment in time in this current state of football. It's just not going to happen. But when I watch Rabiot play for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, ever since he's been, not once did I say, man, that's 8 million euros. And we can say that about Vlahovic, and I'm not even going to debate that. But this story is about Rabiot, because the Vlahovic part we did, and I said, yeah, wages should be cut. Hopefully he agrees with it. But now you have an opportunity to not do that. With Vlahovic, he has a contract. Like the only thing you can do is, please, Vlahovic, do you want to cut your wages? With Rabiot, you don't need to say please now because he is a free agent again. And if you're going to commit a long-term deal, you need to think twice if you want to pay him 7, 8 million euros for the next 3 years. You really need to think twice. That's all I'm saying. And then let's move on to some weird, fun, I don't know, crazy news, depressing news. The first one is Franck KESSIE because, excuse me, because we've been linked with Frank Kessie. This one, Tutto Sport, really quickly said, keep an eye on Kessie, who Allegri knows well and fits the prototype of the midfielder Juve is seeking, and he wants to leave the league again. He's not the profile we're seeking. Like, he's just not, period. Like, we don't need that type of player. We don't need that. So forget about that story. Frank Kessie is not a target, should not be a target, should not have been a target last summer. You know, when it was a target, should not be a target now. So that's that one. The next one is Carnisecchi. And I thought that was a very easy story to make. Di Marzio breaks the KOOPMEINERS news. La Stampa says, we're in for Carnisecchi and he could be part of the KOOPMEINERS deal. Very easy news, but we have been linked to goalkeepers. I think the first year we started this channel, it was Donnarumma, and I wasn't on the first month, but after that I said I didn't get why. You know, should Chesney be on 7 million? No, we know that, but he has that contract and you can only restructure it. That's the only thing you can do now, you know, because if you're on 5,000 euros a month at your job and your boss comes in and says, do you want to cut it? You're going to say no. Like, you're just going to say no. So that's the situation. I like Chesney. I don't think he is an issue at all. Like, I think he's he's bottom of the list of the issues we have. You know, if you like, quality wise, not wage wise, just quality wise. So we need to find, in my opinion, we have so many issues in the squad. The money should not be being spent on a goalkeeper. That's just my opinion. We shouldn't be wasting money on a goalkeeper. You know, long term, fine, I get it, but I think Chesney, how old is he? 33, 34? Like, you can get another good, solid 3-4 years out of Chesney. Not saying we're going to do that, but the goalkeeping situation, I don't think that should be addressed this summer. Like, we have bigger fish to fry. Midfield, backline, wing backs, like, or whatever, wingers, like strike. Like, we have so many question marks. I think the goalkeeper situation one is not one I want to debate or talk about all summer long, actually, because that, in my opinion, that would kind of be a waste of time. But we're in for Carnisecchi, and we know that because the club have been following for ages. And then to wrap it up, Mirko Di Natale, again, on Miretti, he's liked by a lot of players, but the club is not willing to make that deal happen. And it's only obvious because we didn't sign a midfielder and we cannot let Miretti go out on loan. It's as simple as that. Do you like Miretti or do you not like Miretti? That's a different debate. Numbers-wise, squad-wise, we didn't make a signing. You cannot let him leave. Period. Is as simple as that. So not going to waste too much time on that one. But Mirko Di Natale kind of confirmed what we all knew. That's it. That's it for this one. So let me know in the comments about the Pogba. Will you take him back? Let me also know about KOOPMEINERS and the RABIOT, like the entire midfield situation, because it's a big update. Let me know what you make of that one. Like the video. 80 likes is a goal. Tomorrow, second part of the podcast with Julian. It's a good one. So check that out. And I will be live tomorrow evening to preview the... Who do we play? The Empoli game? Damn it. The Empoli game. And then on Saturday, I will be live for the post-game, match reaction, all that stuff. And then on Sunday, live post-game, you know, breakdown with the members. And on Monday, podcast with Alberto from the All Juve cast. So a lot of things coming your way. Also a preview with Anthony from Inter Worldwide, because next week is massive. But first, we need to beat Empoli, of course. Thanks for watching, and see you guys.